I've played Honkai Star Rail for 180 days, and during this time, I have never wished on the standard, limited, starter, or weapon event banners. In this video, I showcase my no warps account. See what happens when you don't use any warps in Honkai Star Rail until you reach Trailblaze level 70. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, wanna consider dropping a like and a sub, but otherwise. Hello everyone, my name is Noblies, and I have been playing Honkai Star Rail for the past 6 months to make this video. I'm currently Trailblaze level 70, and this was achieved without ever warping on any banners. This was quite the interesting challenge to go through, and I was pleasantly surprised on how I was able to tackle the game's hardest content despite not warping for any characters. This video will have timestamps for various aspects of this account, such as character builds, Forgotten Hall clears, Simualted Universe completions, and anything else in between, such as the amount of Stellar Jades and special passes I may have. So if you want to go to a particular aspect of the video, just look into the description of this video. But without any further ado, let's have a look at our characters. Starting off with the character roster, we have 11 characters. They are all level 80, relatively well built, and were obtained through playing the game or through limited time events. I will put additional info at the bottom of the screen to indicate how something was obtained. So let's start off with the Trailblazer, our main character. He's running Preservation, Effect, Hit Rate build with 135 speed. Pause if you want to have a look. Light Cone, he's running Wear Wildfire, level 80, Super Impulse, level 5. Tracers are all maxed. Relics, he's running 2-piece Guard, 2-piece Knight, plus 2-piece Sprightly. So we've got a helmet, gloves, effect hit rate, speed, defense, and break defect. Effect hit rate to allow the taunts to actually land on enemies, and speed is just there to allow characters to have more turns. You'll see a recurring theme, every single character will have speed, because speed is one of the most important substats for this game. 2-piece Sprightly may seem odd at first, but this will ensure that the Fire Trailblazer will always have a chance to taunt enemies, which allows the damage to be transferred to him, rather than me having to rely on RNG, which sometimes, on the later levels, can pretty much kill you instantly. But otherwise, he's Eidolon 6, which all of the Eidolons can be obtained by just playing the game. Next, we have March 7th, level 80, running a hybrid defense and effect hit rate build. Pause if you want to have a look. Light Cone, she's running the 5-star Preservation Light Cone from the Simualted Universe, S5. She has maxed Tracers. Relics, she's running 4-piece Guard and 2-piece Pela Build for survivability and extra defense. Helmet, gloves, effect hit rate, speed, defense, and defense. For March 7th, I chose to go for effect hit rate, which allows her to have a higher chance of freezing enemies during her ultimate. This is one of those cases where on paper you get less defense, but during a practical scenario, this works out really well since her ability to freeze enemies can delay enemies, which allow you to survive harder level content. But otherwise, she's at E0, and that's my March 7th build. Deng Heng, the main DPS of most teams, running your classic crit build. Pause if you want to have a look. He's running the 5-star Hunt Light Cone from the Simualted Universe S5. He has max Tracers. Relics, he's not running any particular sets, it's just what gives him the best of stats. Helmet, gloves, crit rate, speed, wind, and energy recharge. But otherwise, E0, and that's my Deng Heng build. Asta, level 80, insane buffer, she is a must-have in the later levels of the Forgotten Hall. Pause if you want to have a look. She is running Past and Future at the moment, but I do have a 3-star course ready, depending on who is in Asta's team comp. Tracers are maxed. Relics, she's running 4-piece Passenger. We have the helmet, gloves, HP, speed, HP, and energy recharge. We have to run HP, otherwise she gets one-shotted in the Forgotten Hall. You will not normally do this, but since this account only has one healer, I have to do whatever it takes to keep everyone alive. But otherwise, E0, and that's my Asta with a glitched health bar. Alright. But otherwise, that's our 4k HP Speed Demon support build Asta. Next, we have Natasha, our one and only healer. She's level 80 with 7k HP. She's running the version 1.5 event Light Cone, which is pretty good on her. Tracers is almost maxed, with the exception of this basic attack over here. This is the only character in the entire roster who does not have max Tracers. Everyone else you see on this account will have maxed Tracers. Relics, she's got 4-piece Power Supply and 2-piece Fleet. We want Natasha to go as fast as possible, so we are focusing on the substats that has speed, but everything else is HP on the main stat. But otherwise, E0, and that will be it for my only healer for this account. Pela is level 80, she's running an outspam build similar to Asta, pause if you want to have a look. Light Cone, she is running before the tutorial mission starts. Best in stock Light Cone for Pela by a long shot, allows Pela to spam her ult every 2 turns. It's borderline ridiculous and beats the 5-star Light Cone. So if you see over here, I've got the Light Cone, but I just never upgraded it since the tutorial mission starts just so good on Pela. Tracers are maxed. Relics, she's running 4-piece Musketeer and 2-piece Sprightly. If you look at the pieces over here, it's geared towards HP, similar to Asta. This is to ensure she survives the later stages of the Forgotten Hall. Even more important since Pela naturally has low defense. But otherwise, E0, and that's my outspam Pela build. Next, we have Yukong level 80. She's one of the strongest characters on this account due to her buffing abilities. Pause if you want to have a look. Light Cone, she's running past and future, really good for Yukong since stacking this with Dan Hen's ult means he could deal a lot of damage. Tracers are maxed since higher level means free crit stats for everyone. So as you can see, level 10 gives 28 crit rate and 65 crit damage, which is a lot for a free-to-play character. Relics, she's running 4-piece Musketeer and 2-piece Sprightly, is for the extra speed and energy recharge. The stats are here for you to see. I would run 2-piece Retaliant on Yukong, but I do not have good imaginary pieces, so 2-piece Sprightly is what I've got for the time being. But otherwise, E0, and that wraps out my Yukong build. Qingque, meme character, back to meme stats with the slow speed out of everyone. Pause if you want to have a look. She's running the Seriousness of Breakfast S5, a good Light Cone to S5 since it gives up to 48% more attack. Tracers are maxed. Relics, we're running 4-piece Quantum and 2-piece Retaliant. She was one of the hardest characters to farm due to her set being so obscure compared to other characters. And farming for planet equipment in the Simulated Universe is just a pain in the ass experience in general. But I had to do it, the memes are strong with Qingque and I've gotta respect the memes. Otherwise, C0, and that wraps up my Qingque build. Serval level 80, she's kinda hard to build since she's got the lowest defense out of everyone and building HP takes a lot out of her utility. She's running Seriousness of Breakfast S1, Tracers are maxed. Relics, she's not running anything in particular, it's just what gives her good substats. So we've got the helmet, gloves, good damage, speed, HP, and energy recharge. I do have a good attack piece over here for Serval, but half the time she dies way too quickly before she can make use of those good substats. But otherwise, E0, and hopefully I can get better pieces for Serval in the future. Herta level 80, she's the underdog for this account. Everyone looks down on her, but upon a closer inspection, especially on the harder levels of the Forgotten Hall, a crowd control ability will be your saving grace. She is running Make the World Clamor, which is a light cone you can get during a web event in version 1.0. She has max tracers. Relics, she's running 4-piece Musketeer and 2-piece Sprightly, mainly as a go-to set as I found these sets for other characters, but even then these subsets are actually pretty decent. She is at Eidolon 4 as part of the Simulated Universe rewards, with E2 being her top Eidolon, since with lots of enemies, she's essentially getting 15% crit rate for free. Overall, she's a solid character within her niche, which is to deal with lots of enemies in a crowd control situation at later stages of the game. Last but not least, we have Sushang level 80, pause if you want to have a look. She's running River Flows in Spring S1. Tracers are maxed. Relics, she's running 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Champion, and 2-piece Sao Soto. Helmet, glove, crit rate, speed, physical, and energy recharge. E0, and that wraps out the character builds for all 11 characters for this account. Honkai Star Rail has 2 types of endgame content, Simulated Universe and Forgotten Hall. Let's start off with the Simulated Universe. As of version 1.5, we currently have 8 worlds unlocked. Everything in here has been cleared. My go-to path resonance is Propagation. This resonance is locked behind completing Swarm Disaster, but once you have it, and if you do have a well-built Qingque, she is basically unstoppable. Before this, Nihility was my go-to path resonance, but ever since Propagation came into the Simulated Universe, I went to Propagation and never looked back. That being said, other resonance are good for specific niche bosses, such as Abundance being good for Kefka in Rogue 5, The Hunt is a good shot for Yanqing in Rogue 8, Remembrance is a good shout for enemies weak to ice, good against bosses like Swarog if you have the 1-star Nihility Blessing, which decreases enemy effect resistance. Blessings wise, I will go for the following: 3-star Propagation Blessing, which grants you spores, 3-star Hunt, which advances forward your actions after breaking weakness, 3-star Remembrance, granting disassociation after breaking weakness or being frozen, 2-star Blessings, that's the Night Beyond Fire, and the one that grants energy after defeating an enemy. And there's also the 3-star Destruction, which spreads damage for everyone, which is extremely helpful for Swarm Disaster Torturous difficulty. Speaking of Swarm Disaster, I have cleared every difficulty, including Torturous difficulty. This was done with Nihility Path. It was not easy, but as long as you build HP on a party going after the Swarm, you will be able to get a win even with free-to-play characters. That was the Simualted Universe in a nutshell. Now let's have a look at the Forgotten Hall. As of the recording of this video, I've got 27 stars within the Memory of Chaos. I've gotten more stars from previous rotations, but 27 is usually the limit. My progress on Memory of Chaos is dependent on how good the memory turbulence are. The performance ranges from easily clearing floor 10 with 28 stars, or just straight up not meeting the required DPS check to clear floor 10. Even in this particular rotation, it came down to the really last turn with Qingque, which if she was unable to kill the Swarm True Sting, I would have failed the rotation. I tried to reduce the amount of RNG required by putting HP relics on weaker characters or changing the relic sets into something that is more defense focused for survival, but even then, clearing floor 10 is pretty much down to whether if the memory turbulence is good enough to get you there. Before version 1.5, there was no restart challenge button, which made doing the final floors really tedious. There were many instances where one mistake will cost me the run, and I had to spend an extra 10 to 20 minutes redoing the first half just to get back to where I was before. So ever since version 1.5 dropped, I was able to optimize the combat for the second half, which allowed me to clear floor 10 more consistently. I would like to also give a shout out to the Xiangzhou Luofu Memory Floor 6. This was the second hardest content to clear behind floor 10 Memory of Chaos. I have to specifically give out crit rate for HP in order to keep the characters alive long enough to clear the content. Eventually, after hours of trial and error, I was able to come up with a team comp that can clear this floor with 2 stars. Overall, clearing the Memory of Chaos was the hardest thing to do in Honkai Star Rail. It was a really hard challenge which took months of grinding to make it happen. But to be fair, this is endgame content, you're not meant to be able to clear it easily, especially when you're meant to be using premium currencies to roll for characters, which did not happen for this account. We're now going to go into the more specific details for this account. Starting off with upgrade materials, as you can see, I have more than enough materials to upgrade any characters that I want. The only exception being relic enhancement materials, which I'm still grinding to this day. Even though all traces are maxed, I still have plenty of leftover Tracks of Destiny and weekly materials, and as such, I will have no problems upgrading future characters. Regarding light cones, as you can see, this is all that I have. The 5-star light cones were obtained by playing Simualted Universe, and they are really solid, especially when they are super in position 5. 4-star light cones were mostly obtained by playing the game or by participating in limited time events. Big shoutouts to before the tutorial mission starts, since it's the best in-store item for Pela, hence why even though I have the 5-star Nihility light cone, I'm still choosing to use this light cone instead. AA over here is also a really good light cone to have since it really helps out with Natasha's outgoing healing and increases her max HP. The 3-star light cones were obtained by playing the game as well, but since I do not warp on this account, there's no actual way to obtain them past the tutorial, so I do keep them around just for the memes, and you never know, we have one like the chorus that's kinda useful in niche situations. I've already gone through the relics through character builds, so I won't go through them again, but as you see here, I'm still farming relics till this day, and this will continue until the end of time. Other materials are tabs used for synthesis materials, not much to say about it, pause if you want to have a look. Same as to consumables, they are there in the game, but it's hardly used, pause if you want to have a look. And mission items are items for quests and limited time events, not much else to say about it, pause if you want to have a look. And finally, we have the valuables. Plenty of Star Rail passes, that number is definitely enough to guarantee a few 5 stars, but since I have no plans to warp on this account, this number will only go up. I've also got plenty of relic remains and self-modeling resin to craft specific pieces through synthesis function. Most of the self-modeling resin were used on sprightly energy recharge link ropes, as they are the hardest to obtain in Honkai Star Rail. But otherwise, plenty of fuel to use for future characters, and even a few supply material boxes just to help ease up a little bit of a grinding for the future as well. And just for demonstration purposes, to use the self-modeling resin, you go to synthesize over here in the pause menu. You go over here, relic crafting, and then you choose a piece, like for example, sprightly, link rope, and then we customize synthesis, change the energy recharge rate, and this will allow you to guarantee a main stat on the link rope. And of course, it won't be a video of me not wishing if I don't go into the wishing menu. So if we go to the warps over here, 66k Stellar Jades, 209 passes, and of course we've got the 67 special passes right there as well. And if I go to view details on the screen, you will see there will be no wishes used on any of the banner. I will put them on screen. And if we go back over here, if we go into the store menu, no express supply passes, 32 starlight from C4 Herta, no embers, no bundle items, and no premium currency purchases. And to wrap it all off, this is the amount of Star Rail special passes I could get with the Stellar Jades. 414 plus 67, that's 481 special passes, plus the 209, which is definitely over 100,000 Stellar Jades worth of passes. And there you go, an account which has never wished on any banners until Trailblaze level 70. Where am I going to wish for? I don't know, only time will tell. And until that day comes, this number will only continue to go up. But otherwise, this was not wishing until Trailblaze level 70, and thanks for watching.